we want you to stay tuned with us, and so that you can get updated and have that information. That's Thursday at 5:30, and our host for the evening would be Ms. Teresa Kennedy, who is the CEO of 5520 PR and Marketing Forum and a part of the executive team at Women for Progress. Also, we want to thank our partner, Two Mississippi Museum, and Miss Pamela D.C. Jr., who partnered with us for our 2020 Kwanzaa event. It's, every year, live and impression, when we have our Kwanzaa event, we have anywhere from 350 to over 400 people to attend the event from not only state of Mississippi, for area states. But we're so happy this year to do that virtually, where we were able to reach thousands of individuals from not only from our regions, but from all over the U.S. that tuned in to celebrate with us each night. And normally we only do one night, so because we had this virtual opportunity, we of course we were able to celebrate each night of Kwanzaa and all the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. So if you missed that, please go back to the Women for Progress page and go to videos, and all of those video presentations and celebrations are still there for you to be able to review and also share with our candlelighters and our honorees for that particular week. Also, want to remind you, we got some municipal elections coming up for 2021, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the program. And we'll be also swearing in our new leadership for 2021 for Women for Progress. That's part of our executive team and all of the particular committees and groups that we're part of. So stay tuned for that too, and the incredible leadership that's going to be in place. Okay, I see Miss Shania, who's had joined us, and Miss Monique Montgomery has joined us. So welcome, ladies, to the program, and thank you all so much for being part of this. Miss Connie Moran, you're ready for rock and roll? Hello.
Ma'am, hello. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. And my guest today is Miss Connie Moran, who is one of the most incredible talents in the state of Mississippi. Not only she is a servant that have served Mississippi in public service in the city of Ocean Springs. She was a former mayor of Ocean Springs. I'm going to share just a little bit of her bio, and then we're going to start our conversation because we got so much to talk about, and I want to be able to have all that time with her. But Miss Connie Moran is the former mayor of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. She was defeated after 3 terms by Republican candidate Shay Dobson. In June of 2017, she was first elected to her position in 2005. Moran served 3 terms as the mayor of the city. She was re-elected in 2009 and 2013, winning 62% of the vote in the latter year. Moran has served as president of Moran Consultants, a firm providing marketing and development service. She also served for 3 years as director of Jackson County Economic Development, and for 5 years before that as managing director of the state of Mississippi European office in Frankfurt, Germany, where she recruited new business to the state. She graduated from Georgetown University with a bachelor's and master's degree in finance and economics and international commerce. She graduated cum laude. Moran conducted graduate research at the Institute of World Economics in Germany as a Fulbright scholar. She was also an economist at the World Trade Organization in Geneva. She is a former Robert Bosch Foundation Fellow, where she worked for the German Ministry of France. In 2006, she was selected to be the Bosch Alumna of the Year for her leadership in Hurricane Katrina recovery efforts. And I could go on, but I'm going to be sharing more with you today in my conversation with her. So welcome, Connie. You was not a first-timer to Women for Progress Radio Network, so we're glad to have you back.
Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Yeah, thank you so much. There's so many wonderful things that I want to talk to you about today, but before we get into one of the main reasons we're talking to you today about this wonderful vacation rental home that you have, I want to talk a little bit with you about you and your career and your work. But I want to start by saying, of course, we got to talk about what you've been experiencing during COVID. Many women during this COVID period have used this as an opportunity to pivot and kind of make a shift in their lives and what they want to do. But as I look at what you've been doing in your footsteps that you've been making even before COVID, you've already begun to pivot and look at how you want to be living your best life. So talk to us about that, and how have you taken advantage of this opportunity through COVID?
Well, Willie, there are opportunities, especially at COVID. Everyone is encouraged to stay home. And that's when I had the idea that I could turn my childhood home, which I had before as a long-term rental, into a short-term vacation rental. It took a lot of work. There was a lot of repainting to do. I completely refurnished it all over the internet. Every piece of furniture I bought for the house came in a box. The beds, the couches, everything. But it's something that I could do from home, from sitting on my couch, and completely furnish the entire place. So it was something I could do in quarantining myself, but yet with the plan, when people began to travel more, they would have a safe place to come. And when you think about that, a vacation rental home is certainly advantageous because it doesn't have all the clustering of people that a hotel would. So it's actually safer for your family from COVID. So there are weddings and family reunions and things of that sort. People want their own space to be able to gather. And I found it very successful so far. I did have a longer-term rental client in the house up until December, and the house has been booked every weekend since then and all through this month of January. So it's been something fun. It's creative. It's completely different. I'm also looking into the travel industry to be like a concierge for people to help arrange their trips when they're ready to travel. And I also have a lot of personal property that I've been marketing through Moran Consultants, and also I'm a manager of Duncan Holdings, LLC, for larger scale developments. So that's something I can do from home. Anybody can do from home. And I've had a great time doing it so far.
Well, Connie, let's talk about what was the catalyst for this particular venture. I mean, when we look at your resume, of course, you have the ability and talents and resources to do pretty much anything you want to do. You're a very talented woman here in the state of Mississippi. So why vacation rental? Why was this opportunity you felt was something that you wanted to run with?
Well, like I said, it's an asset that I have, and many people find themselves suddenly, perhaps they have a home that they've inherited from their family. It may not even be in the same town that they live in.
This is our first launch on our new.
They have, this is a good opportunity. You can either rent long-term, but actually renting long-term can run down your property. It's more wear and tear, of course. And short-term rental, especially if it's just on the weekends or even just half the month, is more money and less wear and tear. So I know this because as mayor, we wrote the first ordinance for short-term rentals in the state of Mississippi. Tried to find other examples of short-term rental ordinances all over the country. And really at that time when I was mayor, it was brand new industry, a real cottage industry, no pun intended there, but we actually wrote it from scratch. And it's very, very strict in terms of safety precautions and everything you have to have for fire and fire extinguishers, and make sure it's up to building code and more. And all of the notification to the neighbors through the paper, through signage, and through letters to all of the property owners within 500 feet of the property that you intended to apply for a short-term rental permit. So I knew all the ins and outs of it, helped write the ordinance, and then went through it myself. So it's a good, solid ordinance. I don't know of many others in the state of Mississippi, but now that I've had a few years' experience and seeing what some of these short-term rentals have become, I'm extremely happy about that. I think it's excellent economic development and community development in neighborhoods. Many people invested in rundown little cottages close to downtown Ocean Springs, which is a desirable place for visitors to come with all of our unique shops and restaurants and beautiful oak-lined streets downtown and the festivals that we have. But the cottages were really run down, and they needed an incentive for someone to come in and actually put in the investment to fix them up. And short-term rental was the answer. And so these smaller cottages now throughout town, and my house is a simple brick ranch mid-century home, so it's nothing really quaint, but I've furnished it with mid-century furniture, so I'm very proud of it. I think it looks really great. People are enjoying it. So it became a lucrative business to start. It takes a little payoff to get your money back, of course, and you have to invest in it, make sure it's clean and that it's well maintained. But it is an opportunity. It's something new. It's being very successful in the city of Ocean Springs and also in college towns. Oxford, Mississippi, for example, is another one. Places where there's colleges or festivals or sort of a renaissance of your downtown, like Poplarville or in Hattiesburg. Natchez, of course, has always had bed and breakfast, but this is something new because it's not bed and breakfast. You're not serving breakfast, although I do offer coffee and tea and creamer and that sort of thing for guests. But it's a growing industry, and at least here in Ocean Springs, it has caused vibrancy of the neighborhoods where people come in and invest in these homes, thereby raising property values of all the surrounding properties. So it's been win-win for all, and there have been very few incidents or other issues reported. Our fire marshal has to inspect the house along with the building inspector and make sure there's proper exits. There's a limit on the number of occupants that's set by the fire marshal, so you can't have like 25 spring breakers suddenly in your house. So that is something I think that's worked very well for us. Like I say, it's a strict ordinance, but it works for protecting both the property owner as well as the peace and quiet of all the surrounding neighbors.
And Ocean Springs is a perfect spot, as you stated, because of where it's located, with all the other assets that surround it in the other small towns and cities on the Gulf Coast. And then you talked about the other cities that it would fit well for. And that's the reason I wanted to have the conversation with you today also, is that I think it's a great opportunity for Jacksonians. This is a tourist town also because we are the capital and we have so much history here, and we have people from all over the world that come and visit here in the city of Jackson. So, and I also specifically wanted to target and have the conversation and share this information with women, because many of us we may have inherited property or home from our family member that may have passed on, or even just inherited property that was passed on. Maybe a loved one moved into assisted living facility and they had property that just would normally just sit there, and you don't, like you said, you don't want to have to do a long-term lease with people because, that's just have not been good for properties. And so I think this is a great opportunity for women, and especially for those women we look at through COVID who are not looking to get back into the work, the 8 to 5 grind, but they want to have an income coming, and they want to have a great hobby and something that they can really help thrive and help the city of Jackson thrive. So I'm extremely excited about this opportunity for anyone who has property that they want to be able to use this as a way of providing income. But let's just hit on a few things that we need to understand about Airbnbs or vacation rental properties. Is there a special zoning that's required if the property is set in a particular neighborhood? Is that a hurdle that you have to get over? Is that one of the big things getting started?
Well, according to our ordinance, if your home is located in a subdivision that has a homeowners association, an HOA, that forbids short-term rental, then you can't do it there. So that's the first thing you need to look at, just to make sure that you can do a short-term rental wherever your house is located. In our ordinance, if it's in a commercial zone, you need a permit, of course, to run it, but you're not limited. There's a cap of about 50, yes, I think it's 50 short-term rentals in Ocean Springs. But a simple call to the local building department would be able to, they'd be able to advise you whether or not you can do short-term rental and what the stipulations are. So that's the first step.
Okay.
And like for me, I had to, in the planning department actually sent out all the letters. I actually held an open house to invite all of the neighbors to come and see the house and see how much work I put into it, and to talk with them and try to allay any interest or fears that they might have. There was limited occupancy. There would number of cars all have to be in the driveway and the carport and not all over the neighborhood. Trash cans have to be pulled in the day after they are emptied, for example. The kind of things that people normally complain about were all addressed.
Right.
So you have to make sure you're diligent and that your client knows about that. Now, that's the first thing that you have to do. Just figure out if you can even do this in that neighborhood.
Now, do you have many challenges? How, I guess, I'm sure for you specifically, and even for your neighborhood, is making sure, I think I lost you. Okay. Connie, if you're listening or you can listening, look like I've lost you. And if you can log back on to finish our conversation. In the meantime, as we wait for her to get logged back on again, that gives me an opportunity to update you on some information and things that we're doing. We talked a little bit about some of the municipal election year that we're going to be in for 2021. And I don't have the deadline information, but you can go to the Mississippi Secretary of State's website and find out how you can connect and see all the deadlines. If you are a woman that's looking to get into public service, I think this is a wonderful opportunity to do that. All of the seats on our city council, I believe, are up for and open for 2021. So please check all of those, whatever ward you're in. We have 7 wards. So please check out all of that. And if you're already thinking about that, we at Women for Progress are interested in talking with you and seeing what your goals are. I think we're getting Miss Moran back in. Add her back in. So while we get her back into the conversation, so I want to remind you about that, and we need to continue to make sure that we continue to get people registered to vote. That should be a 365-day-a-year job for all of us. We cannot just stop doing election time and election year. I want to remind you again, tomorrow evening at 5:30, right here on our Facebook page, the Women for Progress radio show flagship program will be hosted by Ms. Teresa Kennedy, and our discussion is around COVID and the vaccine. It is so important for us to get all of the right information so we can make great decisions for ourselves and our families. It is so much, in order for us to turn the corner around COVID, we must get as many people informed as possible so they can make a decision whether they are planning on taking the shot or not. But it's so important for us. As soon as the line comes open for the public, I personally plan to take the vaccine. So I'm staying alert and trying to find out where I need to make my appointments. And it is so important for our family, for us as a community, and so it is extremely important. Okay, Miss Connie, I think we got you back. I think if you turn one of us off, if you could turn your computer off, and if you're with your iPad, that would be great.
Okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, great. I was just giving you a few updates until we got you back on.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you good. Are you back with us? If you can step into the camera, we'll be good. Okay, great. Great. And while we're getting set up again, I want to remind everyone, if you have any questions for Ms. Moran, regarding Airbnb and vacation rentals. You can put your questions in the comments section. We'll be glad to share those questions. If you have any information about connecting to Women for Progress, I'm going to add our website in our comment section also, so you can go to our website and find out how to get connected to us. Also, remind you to go to the Women for Progress radio page, where you can find out about all of our programming, and our podcast programming is available there. So we've included that in the chat. Also, you can go to our Facebook page, which is at Women for Progress MS. And also, if you missed any of the shows, our Kwanzaa programming, you can also go to our Facebook page and go to videos and go back and listen to each of those celebrations for those nights of Kwanzaa. And Connie, I think we lost you again. So hopefully you can get your feedback on with us, and so we can continue our conversation. But today we're talking to Miss Connie Moran, who has launched her own Airbnb in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and it's a beautiful, beautiful home. I look forward to renting a temporary space, and they're in her area in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. There's some wonderful golf courses and lots of things to do there, even during the winter time. And then I will be showing, as the program ends, some pictures of her Airbnb, and it is just beautiful. It looks like one of those places to where you can really relax and meditate, and if you want to go down for a few days and just have a place so you can relax and read and eat some great foods, because there's great restaurants all over Ocean Springs and the Gulf Coast area. It is a great place to be. So we'll be sharing some of those photos as we end our program. Connie, do we have you back? Okay, so she's still working on that. If you have any questions for us, just put it in the chat and we'll be glad to share that. Also, while I'm waiting on Miss Connie, I'll let you know that here at DSC Workforce Development Center, where we're live from every Wednesday from 12 to 1, we invite you to come down if you're looking for employment in the transportation industry. We provide training and jobs and careers here at DSC Workforce Development Center. We're located at 3906 I-55 South Frontage Road, close to Byron, Mississippi, but in the city of Jackson. And we're between the Savannah Street exit and the Elton Road exit, right on 55 South on Frontage Road. We have a big sign with a big gate around our facility, and you can't miss us because you can see all the 18-wheeler trucks that are in the yard, and our students who are training out there on the yard every day. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. Give us a call at 601-351-5858, 601-351-5858. And we have all types of opportunities here. We have special scholarships for veterans and for women. So women of you, if you're interested in getting into the transportation industry, come down and talk to us and let us help you, provide you the pathway to real success in a career that you can be proud of. Truck drivers move America. If it wasn't for truck drivers, we would not be surviving the COVID-19 pandemic. Everything we touch, including the vaccines that we're going to be taking over the next few months, all had to hit the truck at some point. So truck drivers are essential individuals. They're essential workers to the United States of America, and they're crucial to our quality of living and our survival. So come down and see us. We now have a partial online program where you can get started online and start from your the comfort of your home with your classroom instruction. So we got some exciting things going on here at DSC Workforce Development Center and DSC Training Academy. Give us a call. We have a full staff of team ready to talk with you. Our recruiter, Ms. Carolyn Rankin, and Ms. Tony Briggs, will be glad to help you walk you through the program. And of course, if you need to talk to me, I'm usually here every day also. So down here at DSE Training Academy in South Jackson, please stop by and see us or give us a call and let us get connect you. Connie, do we have you back on again? Connie, are you with us? Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Connie. So if you can't get the visual, we're fine.
Okay.
We can run with it. But you've given me a lot of opportunity to share a lot of information with individuals. But we were talking about some of the obstacles and things that if individuals interested in turning a home into an Airbnb or a vacation rental. But let's give the website right now too, Connie. I mean, the people that we've been talking to and sharing, if they're interested right now in renting your facility, share with us how they can connect and reserve their vacation rental.
Well, the best way is to Google for Evolve Vacation Rental, Evolve, EVOLVE. That is the company that handles my vacation rental, and they have all the photographs that are on Facebook as well.
Okay, I'm so sorry that we are having the challenges connecting with Connie. But I'm going to take a moment and show you some of the pictures. Why don't we do that now of her home, her vacation rental. And it's an incredible spot, but we'll take the time to do that now. Wasn't that wonderful? I'm going to play that one more time so you can get a real good look at those. These are just a few of the photos. We're going to be sharing a link where you can really see the entire.
Thank you, Willie.
Connie, we were just showing pictures of your vacation rental, which is just beautiful. And I don't think even the pictures that the limited ones we showed, it does it justice. Each of the rooms have been, you can tell, you've taken your time and you've been very, very intentional on the various rooms. And then the patio outside is wonderful. The whole home is just looks like a place once you rent the first time that you're going to be a regular visitor over and over and over again. What have been some of your reviews from the rental?
Well, for example, I had a couple come with their baby, but they have family here. And so it was an opportunity to invite all the family members over here, sort of a sip and see, to introduce the new baby. That made me very happy that the house could accommodate a lot of people and for them to enjoy like a family reunion, so to speak. So they were very happy about that. Another group, I had all the groomsmen and the groom before a wedding were here. And they were really good, and they stripped the beds, and they put all the glassware and all the dishes in the dishwasher before they left. So they were great. And again, I'm just now starting with the short-term rental. But one thing I'd like to share with your listeners is, of course, short-term rentals have to pay taxes just like hotels do. So if you have to pay the 7% Mississippi sales tax, and if you have, I know in Jackson you have the 2% extra, the hospitality tax. So that's something that you do have to pay. But I have that group that handles my rental for me, Evolve. I would suggest that you look them up because they handle all of that for me, and they send me the money and they calculate all the taxes and they just streamline it. So I really don't have to give it a second thought. And that's very, very helpful to me to make sure that I'm complying with all the state and local regulations.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And not to get too deep into this, the details of this thing, but you shared so very, very much. And that website is evolvevacationrental.com, evolvevacationrental.com, and we'll share the property ID also for you can easily link up to Connie's home so you can rent it. And also on her Facebook page, there's a link there also in her post where you can click through and look at the pictures, and also there's a link for you to also rent from there. And I have to say, when I looked at the cost, it's very affordable rental for what you're going to get and what you have there. And like I said, it is a perfect spot for you to relax. So yes, let's pivot a little bit, Connie. I want to talk a little bit also about your public service and the other amazing work that you do. Of course, you were the former mayor of Ocean Springs for many, many years. What are some of the assets of Ocean Springs, and what did you learn as this major servant of the city during your tenure as mayor of Ocean Springs?
Well, thank you. I love Ocean Springs. It is my hometown, and to be mayor of your hometown is certainly something very special. Although 6 weeks after I was elected, Hurricane Katrina destroyed our Gulf Coast and much of Mississippi, and that was the biggest challenge I had to face. But I did have an economic development background, having worked for the state of Mississippi as well as Jackson County in economic development. So I was very familiar with grant writing, where the money was. I knew all the people at the agencies at MDA, Mississippi Development Authority, and Department of Transportation. And so I was able to work very quickly and efficiently with them for all of these major infrastructure projects. I fought very hard for a new Biloxi Bay Bridge connecting Biloxi and Ocean Springs, and I fought for the walking path that is on the bridge that is now so heavily utilized by people. That was a bone of contention at first, but now everyone agrees that was a great thing. And then in just building our beach and our waterfront area, as well as our streetscape downtown with new street lights, I was a strong advocate for beautification, cleanliness, and public safety, because those are the three elements that really attract people to your downtown area and for all of your shops. So I was always saying, green brings the green. If you keep your community beautiful and free of litter, and it's safe and it's well lit, and we built lots of crosswalks and other areas to control pedestrian traffic and to make it safer for them, then they will come. And all of the storefronts all filled up, and we had lots of unique restaurants and lounges, as well as lots of gift shops and retail shops for ladies' wear in particular. So it all became vibrant together. It was a wonderful experience. Those are the assets that we have. And then on the east side of town, we built our 40-acre sports complex, as well as a brand new public safety complex. And we did pass a referendum for 2% on food and beverage in order to fund that. So we were able to do all of that without raising property taxes. And those are the things that I'm most proud of. And as you know, the last time I was on your show, I did run for the Public Service Commissioner. I felt that my background would serve well, since I'd also worked for many utilities. But I did not win that election. It's really hard, I think, as well, you know, as a Democrat running on a regional or statewide ticket, it's really tough. Yeah. So that was my last political endeavor, was to run for the Public Service Commission, and I was defeated in that election in 2019.
You ran an incredible race, and you bring so much to the table from a leadership standpoint, Connie. And when we think about women who run for office, your resume and your work speak so loudly to any role that it will empower areas of the state of Mississippi. Do you plan to throw your hat back out there again for anything that we can look forward to in the future for the state of Mississippi?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the timing is right. I think if we had the infrastructure and the urban centers that Georgia has, perhaps there would be a chance for a Democrat to win a statewide office, just as we're seeing is happening in Georgia right now, which I'm elated about. But it's just not there yet. In Mississippi, the party is certainly taking steps to restructure. Those are all very positive things. I really don't think I could even get elected locally as a Democrat right now because of all the dissension that has happened over the past 4 years. It's really a shame. I think that Democrats should really focus more locally. I think that's where a lot of the power is. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's where I think women can also be very successful and have a voice. So I certainly encourage everyone to run, and even if you run as an independent, just so long as your heart is in it and you're willing to put forward the work for your community, it can be very, very satisfying.
Well, that's one of the things that I'm so excited about. Well, one of the many things that Women for Progress is going to be working on for 2021. We, of course, launched our PAC last year, and so we're going to be working very heavily to build tasks and resources within that PAC to not only empower women but empower leaders that will consider make the issues around women and families a priority on their campaign and their platform. So I think that's what's necessary. Also, we need as women to come together in a much more powerful form. We must make sure that we take our pocketbooks, and I said pocketbooks, and make sure that we are using our monies and our resources and our influence for issues that impact women and families, to empower women and families. But we have to do that much more strategically. So I'm so glad you said that, Connie, about the transformation that's needed in the state of Mississippi. But that's why I'm so excited, Connie, to hear about what happened in Georgia, because that happened with individuals one by one making the decision and a commitment to make a change in that state. And they stay committed to it. It requires a whole lot of work. It requires a diverse group of people coming together and saying that we want good for our community in our state. And I think that's what we're going to have to do in the state of Mississippi. So I'm extremely hopeful about 2021. We have a lot of opportunities on the local level to make changes. And I tell you, I am so excited. One of the things that happened in 2020 is all of the millennial leadership that we got an opportunity to meet, that were doing things behind the scenes, had been doing them for many, many years, and working so very, very hard in so many different arenas. And I'm excited about the young leadership that's going to be coming to the table too. We just recently, Ward 2 here in the city of Jackson has the incredible Miss Angelique Lee, who's extremely excited. We're glad to have an African-American woman on the city council again. And I think that's great news. And so I think it's going to be a catalyst for a lot of new change, not only here in the city of Jackson, for the state of Mississippi. But we hope you don't hang up your hat yet. You have so much to give, and in real strong leadership. It shows the time that you have been mayor of Ocean Springs and running in even a statewide office like Public Service Commissioner. And then what you've been doing economically, showing how women can lead and be economic developers. I think this is going to be a great example. This new vacation rental opportunity that you're doing is just going to be wonderful. What can you share with women as they begin to look at opportunities like you have with the vacation rentals? What do women need to know during COVID and beyond COVID to be successful economically?
Well, I think first they need to find out what drives them, what they really care about, and something that excites them. I was excited about this house because my mother had actually wanted to tear it down, but I convinced her even if we just do long-term rental, we could have enough money to pay the taxes and all the insurance on everybody's house. So that is a tremendous asset that you have, to not ignore that and to understand that you can do that. And again, that's what I did in COVID. It was my COVID project, was to do this house. And she has recently passed away, unfortunately. So I also have her home that I am renting and renovating as well. And we have some other family properties, vacant lands that I'm involved in marketing for large scale developments. But the main thing is to put pen to paper, start with, just search your soul and see if that's something that you would like to do and would be fun. And then start by calling your building inspector and finding out what the steps are, and they will be happy to help you. Every community really most communities want to see this flourish. The only backlash is from some neighbors who are just convinced that it's going to be a bad clientele that would be coming into their neighborhood, which of course it is not, especially if you go through these agencies or Airbnb. But Evolve actually lists my listing with VRBO, Booking.com, Airbnb. And so they do all of that for me. I don't do any of that. All I do is get an email that I'm going to have a client come in next weekend. And so it's really that easy. And at first I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, because I didn't want to have to deal with all of that paperwork. But you don't really have to do that if you go with a company like that. So I could recommend Evolve because they are multifaceted. They do have a 10% commission, which I think is very reasonable considering they handle all the marketing and all the taxes and everything to do with the rental itself. So just put pen to paper, figure out perhaps what it would cost you to at least do, fresh paint and some furniture or refurbishment, and then figure out, and Evolve can help give you a projected report of what funding you could expect. And then, like any other business plan, then make that decision to go forward, or just a little at a time. And as you get more money, you can do things like have a new microwave or appliance or new bedspreads or freshen it up. So that's the way I've approached it. So far, it's been quite successful. I do have friends here in town who also have short-term rentals. They enjoy it. It's good income. And it's fun to meet other people from out of town as well and to showcase your community.
Yes. And as we get close to our top of our hour, Connie, I do, you are, like I said, a woman of many talents, and you've traveled, and you've also had your own personal struggles and things that you have come through and had many experiences. What would you, during your lifespan and many opportunities you've had in your walks of life, what have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about Connie Moran?
Well, I've learned that I'm resilient and I'm patient in one way with people, but not patient with myself. I have learned that. I've been very lucky. I'm very fortunate. And I'm cognizant of that all the time. I was adopted, so I have a fantastic family. And then right before I ran for mayor in 2005, I met my birth mother and had a wonderful relationship with her in Florida. And now she's passed on, as well as my birth father. But that just reinforced the fact that I'm so fortunate to have the family that raised me, as well as my real family. So now I have all this new set of cousins. That's very exciting for me. So I've learned that there's always something new around the corner. I know I can, if I put my mind to it and my nose to the grindstone, I can get things done. I think that was the strong suit of being mayor, is that once I had a vision, like, for example, the bridge with the lighting and the walking path that everyone thought would just be a waste of money is now utilized by hundreds of people every day. So I think that has just told me that if it's in your gut, do it, fight for that. I also am very passionate about voting. I mean, I always have empty voter applications in my purse, and I'm always asking everybody at the grocery store, are you a registered voter? Because here's the sheet. I'll send it in for you if you fill it out. So I'm excited about Stacey Abrams and all of her efforts. It's a great example of I'd like to see even more here in Mississippi. I've recently been named the new communications director of the League of Women Voters on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So I'm excited about that and looking forward to meeting new people along the Gulf Coast. I know you're involved in that as well. In Jackson, it's such a wonderful organization. And just getting people involved in the process, because it's right. Using your pocketbook to make everyday decisions will influence policy in the long run.
And like you said, you keep these registration forms in your purse because it's about one voter at a time. Getting
That's
people
right.
engaged just think if we all did that, and no matter where you're in Walmart or if you're having a conversation, if you're engaged in your community, you're always bumping into people that you either know personally, and I had a call the other day. Somebody called me, and because my number is public, and they said, look, I'm one of your Facebook friends, and started having a conversation about a particular topic, and we were able to engage in a great conversation. So you never know when you're going to meet people, and this is an opportunity to share these things around voting and other issues that impact our community. So I think that you, in your new role at League of Women Voters, that's going to be an exciting opportunity. I look forward to working with you here in the state of Mississippi. I'm sure we're going to be able to do some great things. Now, there's a couple of questions in the chat. One that I'll ask is about your vacation rental. How many guests does your home accommodate?
8 people. We have 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, so 3 queen beds, and then I have 2 fold-out sofas.
Okay.
That accommodate an adult in each one.
And when people come to your vacation rental, as far as cooking utensils and all of that, because we saw in the pictures that we've shown already, the huge kitchen that's there and available, is all of that there for their use, or do they have to bring those supplies with them?
No, it is all there. I had a lot of fun picking everything out. In fact, I'm sitting at the dining room table, and it is fully set with flatware and dishes and glasses and candles.
Wow.
So everything is here, pots and pans, all the cooking utensils, knives, toaster, coffee, tea kettle. So really, literally, all you need is a suitcase with your clothes, and you have the run of the roost.
And I think it's a great girls' weekend retreat also. I think it's the way you have it set up, and the welcoming, the colors and everything is so peaceful and really relaxing. So it's a great, if you got a group of women who say, hey, let's have a girls' weekend, I think that would be a great spot for it. I'm looking forward to coming down and playing a couple rounds of golf and staying at your facility. So I'm excited about that. And one of the things that you mentioned to me early before we wrap up, you stated that during COVID, when a lot of people don't want to go to the public hotels, that these types of vacation rentals is a perfect opportunity for you to feel safe, that you're in this environment by yourself, it's been properly disinfected. And so when you come and you're there, and you can come and go in and out of the house there without interacting with all of these hundreds and hundreds of people that you may be confronted with at the hotel.
That's exactly right. And I've got a great cleaning team. Not only do they clean the house really well and wash launder all the towels and the linens every time, but they disinfect all the surfaces. We are very cognizant of all the safety requirements. Evolve has protocols on everything. So we have a checklist to make sure we have everything disinfected. And there's hand sanitizer here and hand soap all over the house. So we're very, very cognizant of being COVID ready and safety and handle all the precautions necessary to make sure it's a safe stay for everyone.
And I did put that link for the your vacation rental and your property number into the chat stream for those who want to click right now and get on board. And also, I think we have time for just one more question. One of the guests in our chat wanted to know what was one of the biggest challenges that you had to to overcome in getting your Airbnb up and running.
Well, at least in Ocean Springs, the code is pretty strict in that I had to have an exit from every bedroom. Well, and it's 1950, and it's the old windows, the crank open windows, as you know, and one of them didn't work very well, so I failed my first inspection. And had to make sure that was well oiled and greased and that it was going to work, and to also have notes on the kitchen explaining to everybody all of the exits. There's an exit sign. Everything has to be hardwired into the smoke detectors. It's not just a little smoke detector you put on the ceiling. It's not very expensive, but it needs to be done. It has to be done by an electrician. And there's a lit way that lights up by the exit. So if it's perfectly dark, you still know how to get out where the next exit is. So that was a bit challenging. But again, I wrote the ordinance, so I had to go through it myself.
Well, and you had an opportunity to see how well it was written and put together. So that's great. And I'm so glad, Connie, that you're sharing this information and this dialogue with us today, with other women and men who are interested in getting into this industry. And I'm going to wrap up with this particular question: is what have been some of the other challenges around COVID-19 to vacation rentals and people vacationing? Has this industry suffered any? And in what ways did they suffer? And do you think that they are, I guess in 2020, once we make this turn on COVID, it may be a booming industry for us. So what do you think?
Well, yes, they did suffer. There was less at first in particular, and over the summer it was really way down. But now it's starting to step up again. I've got 3 new clients just in the past couple of days. Like I said, I'm booked off through January, most of February. And when springtime comes, it's just the most beautiful place down here. Well, throughout Mississippi, that's the best time. So that is an opportunity for people to really come on down. But of course, Mardi Gras parades have been canceled. So that's going to hurt us. But again, if you look at it, that a vacation rental, if people can get used to the idea of actually going to one, and I, of course, have used them as well, it is actually safer than the hotels. Mm-hmm. So you can still have a vacation if you go to a vacation home, and you can possibly visit friends and family in that area while you're down. So that's really, in my opinion, so long as you're careful and wear a mask when you're in public, there's no reason not to go ahead and take a vacation and take advantage of some of the beautiful rental homes. We have about 40 of them here in Ocean Springs, and I'm friends with many of the people who own them, and they're precious. They're cute cottages. They've done a lot to decorate them, and they're just very pleasant and a completely different experience than staying in a regular chain hotel.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And many times when I travel, I'm always looking for unique spots to be able to stay in instead of the hotels. It provides, and then you also, I think, by using these types of vacation rentals, you get the real feel of the city and the space that you are in. A lot of these vacation rentals are deep into neighborhoods that once you get into, because a lot of times your hotels are on the interstates or kind of outside the heart of the city. So these vacation rentals is a great opportunity to get immersed into the places. When my husband and I traveled together over the years, we love to explore the history of every place that we go to. And these types of rentals, I mean, Natchez is a perfect example of that with their homes that they have. You really get to get the feel of the history when you stay in those particular types of places. So we're excited about this opportunity. Well, thank you so much, Connie, for talking with me today. I'm sure this won't be our last conversation, but how about that? You're our first guest of 2021 for the Working Woman Report.
I'm very excited about that. What an honor. Thank you so much, Willie.
Well, thank you, Connie. Thank you so much. Also, I have to say, for being part of Women for Progress. Thank you for your talents and all of your time. We look forward to working with you as we move forward in many different ways around not only voting and getting folks registered in the state of Mississippi, but also economic development around women and helping expand the capacities for women in business. So thank you so much again for this conversation. And when we close today, Connie, I want to show our clip one more time of some of the photos that we shared earlier for folks to take a look at. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm excited about it, and we're going to continue to share that information. And when we close online too, we're going to share some additional links of some of the other websites that you can reach the vacation rental to. A lot of people like Booking.com. I've used them on a regular basis. I feel very safe and comfortable using them. And then there's a few other websites, Airbnb.com, that you can connect with this vacation rental also. So thank you so much. Thank all of you all. Thanks for the incredible women that joined us today for this conversation. As we move forward and continue to expand our platform and get better at it, we want you to make sure that you set this aside Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m. every week, Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m. to have lunch with us at the Working Woman Report. We talk to women from all over the state of Mississippi and beyond. The goal and mission of our program is to highlight the work of women throughout the state of Mississippi. We want Mississippians to understand the impact of the work of women to our Mississippi economy. And that's why we have these conversations in our program, in addition to empowering and uplifting the work of women throughout the state of Mississippi. So thank you so much for joining us. This has been our first kickoff to the new year, and it's going to be an exciting one. Stay hopeful, stay positive. As Miss Connie said, there's always something good right around the corner, okay? So thank you for joining us today, and we're going to show you, as we close, those clips again of this wonderful B&B. Okay, that's it. And Miss Connie, have a great week, okay? Thank you much.